Here. This is SCORE Cleveland's webinar on For the Life of Your Business, and just a few slides about SCORE. SCORE's mission is to foster vibrant small business communities through mentoring and education. It is our aim to give every person the support they need to thrive as a small business owner. Small business drives our national economy through business formation, job creation, and wealth building. Small businesses are critical to vibrant communities in our society. SCORE volunteers give freely of their time, energy, and knowledge to help others. SCORE is the largest network of free volunteers, small business mentors in the nation. All SCORE services are free, no charge. You will never be charged a fee by the Cleveland SCORE chapter. No matter what stage your business is in, SCORE has a mentor for you. We have almost 100 people in the Cleveland area who are SCORE mentors. Sooner or later, we'll find someone who knows something about your business and can help you. You can request a mentor by going to the score.org website for Cleveland and clicking on the link that says request a mentor. We are open to all kinds of mentors from all walks of life, and we make no distinction. It's if you come to us and ask for a mentor, we will find you one. This is our website. Just basically, this is what you'll be looking for when you come on. If you just put the word SCORE in, you're going to get Guardian's statistics, or probably don't want the Brown statistics, but you'll get sports data. So you got to put score.org. Our services are free. We get some support, financial support from the U.S. government in the form of the Small Business Administration. And we want to thank all of our sponsors, Cleveland Neighborhood Project, Progress, Truax Law, Grow Capital, PNC, KeyBank, Community Foundation of Lorraine County, ComStar, Community Star, Credit Union, and Wells Fargo. Now, if you have your phone available and you would like to get a SCORE mentor, point your phone at the QR code that is on your screen and then save that link. And then when you click on it, it will take you right to the right place. I'm just going to leave that up for a couple of seconds here. So if you want to grab your phone, and if you're looking at getting this on your phone and you can't grab it right away, just remember score.org, and that will take you there. I'm going to stop sharing now and turn it over to Lindsay.
Hello, everyone. It's very exciting to see you all and to hang out with you. I am very happy to see. I think that I probably have already recognized a few names in here, but that being said, if you have not yet, I know Mick has done it, but I want everyone else to do it. In the chat, I want you to tell me who you are, where you're from, because I see that we already got people from all over, so tell me where you're from. And tell me what your business is. If you haven't started a business yet, what business do you want to start? What business are you interested in? What are you thinking about? So tell me all that jazz in the chat, and then I am going to go ahead and get started with the workshop. I've lost my screen, like, you know, it always happens. So there we go. I'm like, somewhere in there, I lost my screen. It is right here. So if you're doing it, you guys are doing it for me. You're telling me who you are, where you're from. Okay, good. You're doing it. I am a chat human. So if you've ever been in a workshop with me before, you will see I am the person who is like with you in the chat. I love it. There's someone with a quilt shop. I love using quilt shops as examples. So I'm like, I can see everything you guys are chatting about in the chat. So if you have any questions during the workshop, oh, good. There's, like I said, I thought there was a few names I recognize in here. This is great. So if you tell me who you are. Like I said, it makes it a little bit easier for me to give examples and use you guys as we're going about in the workshop tonight. It's only going to be an hour. It's going to be fast and furious. If you've been with me before, you know how it works. But I try to make sure that in the time that we have together, you get something from me, like something that you can take and apply and help you to get launched or help you to move further in your business, all that jazz. So yes, it's a great, nice regional audience. We got people from all over. We got Central Indiana, we got Wisconsin, we got Illinois, we got Detroit, or whatever state Detroit is in. I'm just kidding. We got Michigan. We got all the people from all over. So we're very excited to have you guys. And a bunch of y'all Ohioans with me. I'm also in Ohio. So if those of you are like, Rochelle, and you are in Ohio. I'm in Ohio too. I'm in Cleveland, and like I said, looking forward to getting started. So keep it going with the chat. I love to hear all the stuff, what you're doing, and I'm gonna ask questions. I'm gonna ask y'all to put stuff in the chat. So keep it going. And one more thing before I move into the workshop. If for some reason you're like, man, I've been looking for a fill in the blank type of person, y'all feel free to let the chat be a place where you network with each other. That's part of the reason why I ask you. So like if you're in Evanston and you see a business in Chicago and you're like, we neighbors, let's be friends. Like at least find each other on LinkedIn, do something like that. Like, use this as an opportunity to connect with each other and, grow, learn, all that jazz. It's very lonely being a business owner, y'all. It's very lonely. So there's no reason why you shouldn't take the opportunity here in this moment to find other people who are near you, doing their thing, starting their businesses, working with dogs in Michigan, whatever it is you're doing, find other people here in the chat who are doing something similar or in the same place as you. Okay. Okay, with that said, let's get started. I'm Lindsay. Hi, it's nice to meet you. I am the Ohio Grow with Google Digital Coach, but it doesn't matter where you guys are right now. I am your personal Grow with Google Digital Coach. That's what I am. I am the founder and CEO of a business called Certified Marketing Pro. We were previously Predictable Results Marketing. I have had many business names, but the Certified Marketing Pro is the new version of me, 2025. New year, who this, like that's me this year. So if you want to reach out to me, you can find me at that email address that you see there on the screen. It's Lindsay Sims at Google, not Gmail, google.com. So that's the best way to reach me if you want any information or to contact me. That or LinkedIn, y'all. That's like the platform I'm on all the time. I just reached out to Dan, the person who's hosting this workshop with me. I was like, Dan, how have I met you? But we're not connected on LinkedIn. So I connected with them on LinkedIn. So I'm that person. So if you're interested, there you go. Okay, so yes, and then for all of my workshops, you can head over to the Grow with Google or grow.google. I can't use the chat for some reason. I can read it, but I can't type in there. And so if you head over there, you'll learn all about all the businesses, the things that Google offers for small businesses. Okay, so today we're going to cover a lot of stuff. But the main thing that we're going to do is talk about the marketing funnel and how it is basically your customer's journey and how you want to start thinking in terms of your customer's journey when you're starting your marketing journey. Because in reality, if we're doing marketing right, then we are marketing to where our customer is at any given point. And also, our customers are not always at the same point in their journey, right? So our customers are all over the place doing all types of things. And we, as people who are trying to market to them, we need to have marketing that is interesting and useful, fun, but also appropriate for where people are. Dan, that is me. So if you're wondering what that is, that's me. Okay, so just so that we're sure that you guys understand what I mean, your customers are sometimes people who are novice quilters. They've never touched anything related to quilting in their lives, but maybe they had a grandparent who did. So they're not actually starting at square one. Like they actually know what fat quarters are and they understand machines and they understand like they're not starting at the very beginning with their knowledge. They have more information. And so it's really useful if you have more information available for them. And then there are people who are starting at square one and don't know what a fat quarter is and they don't know anything I'm saying right now. And so they really do need you to start at the beginning. And there are people who have been doing it for years and are just interested in something new. And so what we want to do as people who are marketing our businesses is that we want to make sure that we are, as much as possible, trying to be where our customers are at any given point in time. Okay, so let's talk about what this customer journey looks like, what it is, all that jazz. Great marketers do not make stuff, they make meaning. So whatever it is you do, whether you are an accountant, a tax professional, whatever it is that you do, whether you are selling, dog daycare, or you are a veterinarian, or you are a content creator, no matter what it is you do, you are not selling the stuff. You're not selling the thing. You are selling the meaning behind the thing. And so we want to remember that when we're talking about marketing, because marketing is not about what you do. Marketing is about what people think about what you do and what they think about what it means in their lives. So that said, there's basically just three things that marketing is. It is creating and telling a good story, building trust and credibility, and then influencing people along the way. And if you think that you're not an influencer, you are wrong. All of us influence our customers. It's just a matter of how we're doing it. We might not all have 10,000 followers on Instagram or whatever number it is you feel like makes you an influencer. That might not be where we are, but we do all have influence in this process for our customers. And what marketing helps you do is to leverage your own influence. So, what is the marketing funnel? If you have ever seen anything like this before in your life, put a number one in the chat. So if you've seen awareness, consideration, conversion, okay, so somebody in here took a marketing class at some point. I got it. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I want to know. So everyone has seen something. You might have seen it end with the word action instead of loyalty. You might have seen awareness, desire, interest. You might have seen other words in there, but some of you have actually seen this before. This is a marketing funnel. Now, the reason why, no matter who you're talking to, we all use some version of this to try to teach people about marketing. The reason we do that is because it's the simplest way for you to attach what your behavior is as a marketer to, as a business owner, not just a market. We're business owners, we're marketers too, right? So as a business owner who's marketing their business to the journey that your customer is going through. So it's a very easy way to kind of map those two things and match those two things together. So that's why we use this funnel thing all the time to think about it. So when you're looking at how you influence your customers along the journey, this is what that looks like. You're going to say in the awareness phase, how do I reach my customers? In the consideration phase, how do I help them find answers to their question? In the conversion phase, how do I turn someone who is a looky-loo into a person who has paid me money? And then in the loyalty phase, how do I get people to come back? Now, when you're thinking, but Lindsay, I sell houses, I'm not going to get people to come back. Well, sir, ma'am, yes, you can. You can absolutely have repeat customers as a real estate agent or as a doula or whatever it is that you're doing. You can absolutely have repeat customers. At the very least, you can have customers that love you so much in everything that you do that they are clamoring to tell people about you. The second that you leave, they are on the internet telling everyone about how great a job you did and what the thing is you did for them. So, yes, very important to still pay attention to loyalty, even if you are selling something that is, air quotes, once in a lifetime purchase or something along those lines, which of course, nowadays there's no such thing. Like it used to be you bought a refrigerator once. Now you buy a refrigerator every 5 years. So thinking of it that way, no such thing as a lifetime purchase anymore. Now we're like, if you're selling it, we're going to have to buy it again. So make sure that you're staying in people's ecosystem. Now, I like to turn this into a little bit more information. So it says, let's turn to the workbook. There's no workbook. But I do want you to think about this in a very strategic way. When you're thinking about awareness, I want you to think, what do the customers need to know? What do they need to know about your business? Number two, who are you competing with? In the consideration phase, there's someone else trying to answer those questions. Who is that? And what answers are they providing? Now, you might need to know that because I'm looking at Lauren here, who's a CPA. If you are a CPA and you're looking at everyone on the internet giving horrible tax advice, all the internet is full of tax charlatans. I hope you understand that. Do not get your advice from someone who's up free on the internet. And so there's all these people giving really bad tax advice. If there's what your customers, your potential audience is actually looking at, that's who you're competing with, right? And so you need to then figure out how to do your marketing to help people see that the information that they're getting in the internet is not necessarily useful or helpful to them, right? And then with the conversion step, you have to think about, how can I show people the process of buying this thing? Whatever it is I'm doing, how can I illustrate the process? And again, you might be thinking, but Lindsay, what I offer is so simple. Why do I need to show people? Because, okay, if you've not been here before, brace yourself. I'm about to say something controversial. People are stupid. Okay. And I don't mean people are stupid in a bad way. I don't even mean other people are stupid. I mean all of us. We are all stupid. We're stupid about the things that we don't know, right? There's some process that you've never been through before. And so when you go to do it the first time, you're like, oh man, I don't know how to do that. Like, so there is something out there that we are all stupid about. And the thing is, as a business owner, what you have to acknowledge, what we as business owners have to acknowledge, is that there are people who are stupid about our thing. So I'm a professor. I love using my students as examples because y'all are way less offended when I call my like 18-year-olds stupid. And so when I talk about them, my students, what we do at our university is for freshmen, when they come onto campus, we do a building orientation and a building scavenger hunt. Why do we do this? Because even though our building is literally a mirrored square, it is not, it's a mirrored rectangle. People get lost in our building all the time. When I say lost, I mean it is literally just a two-story rectangle, but people get lost in there constantly. And so we do an orientation. We say, you're in room 215 right now. If you walk to the other side of the building, you'll be in room 205. It's a mirror, like, 5 and 5, 10 and 10. Like, we explain it to them in the simplest ways possible. We walk them outside and point to the rec center. We walk them outside and we point to the cafeteria. We walk them outside. We do all of this because we recognize that on the first day of school, they don't know anything. They don't know what the process is. They don't know how to do anything. And they're scared because they don't know how to do anything. So half of them, it's the first time they've ever been without their parents. Like, it's scary. So what I want you to think about is which parts of your business are weird to people, scary, unknown. And we're going to try to figure out how to use marketing to uncover that stuff, to show people the parts that are weird and scary and the stuff that they're stupid about. Because if you make them feel smart, oh, then they will love you. Like, they will love you all day long. So our goal is to make our customers feel smart, right? And then in the loyalty phase, how can we engage them? How can we get them to engage with each other? Not just how do we get them to engage with us, but how do we get them to engage, period, with us, with each other, with future customers? That is what loyalty is all about. Okay, so I've told y'all a lot of stuff already. Let's jump into it. I'm glad some of y'all liked my comment because I'd be scared. I have to say it though. It's true. People are stupid. And so if I don't say it, then y'all don't understand. So at the awareness phase, it's the very first part of the journey. We want to be thinking about how people reach us. Now, if you have not started yet, I saw a bunch of you saying that you're not started, you haven't launched yet, you're in the pre-launch phase. That's fine. That is perfectly acceptable. Everybody else who has started already, I want you to, in the chat, tell me, how do your customers reach you right now? And if you say word of mouth, I want to know whose mouth, who's the person, people, category of humans that is referring people to you via word of mouth. So in the chat, yes, without stupid people, there would be no. Ben, you are completely correct. Okay, so in the chat, tell me how people are reaching you. So they're reaching you in person. So I'm guessing Nia has a in-person shop, like a physical place that people come to. Email, Facebook, Instagram. Y'all keep them coming. Advertising. Oh, people are advertising. Jelani, you special. Okay, I love it. John, we'll have to talk about that, Jelani. I do an ads workshop. We're going to be talking about that. So your website, artwork, Google Ads, referrals, directories. Lakia, I'm loving that. People are finding you via directories. We can talk about that. A lot of people don't realize that directories are a great way to still market your business. Google, at least a few of you said Google. Harriet, thank you for that very honest answer. You're still trying to figure it out. We like it. The existing customers, Richard, that's a really good way to put it. Existing customers, networking. Monica's out there shaking hands and hopefully not actually kissing babies. So my networking, Craigslist, friends. That's a really good answer. So if you have friends who are either potential clients or people who know the potential clients, that's always useful. Facebook groups, Raylene, that's a really good one. People don't think about this, but Facebook is still very much alive and well. Whenever anyone says they don't do Facebook, I'm like, why? That's where the people are. There's literally, I can't remember what the metric is, but Facebook has something like 60 million daily users. Like, I think that's just in America. Like, it's crazy. And so everyone who's like, no one uses Facebook, and I'm like, Everyone uses Facebook pretty much every day. So you guys got a lot of groups of things that people are doing and how they're finding you. I did see some people put word of mouth in there, but you did tell me whose mouth. That's very important because I have to know if we're going to do marketing, we need to know who we're using, who we're marketing to, essentially what our materials are, right? So if you're on Facebook, Facebook is a tool. Google Ads is a tool. Google Search is a tool. All of these things are tools. Even your friends are tools. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that in a like, now go use your friends or your mom or whoever is out there advocating for you. What I do mean, though, is that every tool has the ability to be used smart, right? And so there's dumb ways to use tools and there's smart ways to use tools. I quite literally, I know, right, Ben? See, this is the thing. Y'all just need to not take me literally, okay? So, I love you guys already. You're like my favorite group of people. So, but what I am saying is we need to learn how to use tools effectively. I genuinely do remember the first time I picked up a hammer, I was probably 4. And it was very foreign. There was nothing to hammer in the traditional sense. I don't even remember what my mom was doing, but she pulled out a toolbox and was like, hand me the hammer. I'm legitimately 4 years old, and my mother asked me to hand her a hammer. Very fortunately, my sister, who is 7 years older than me, was standing right next to me. And I was like, what's the hammer? Don't let us even get into the whole Phillips head, flathead situation, because my mom like ground that into me. By the time I was like 6, I knew the difference between those screwdrivers. But the first time I did not know. I did not know how to use them. I did not know what to do with them. And so what we want to be doing is thinking about each of these different tools as different toolkits, like things that are in your toolkit, different ways that you use it, things that you can do differently, okay? If the audio is glitchy, it's probably just my internet connection. I apologize, but very unfortunately, I can't change it. So I'm using wireless Wi-Fi just like everyone else. So if it's glitchy, I apologize, but it should be mostly fine. It should be mostly fine. So at that beginning phase in the awareness phase, once we identify our tools, we're going to start thinking about who we're reaching. Who is this audience? Now, why? We want to be thinking about it because different tools match to different audience members. Okay, so you might have a set of audience that goes really well with Facebook. Like you've got Facebook groups that you know you can use to reach this audience. But then you might need to reach a different audience with a different tool, and you're going to use that tool differently. LinkedIn, very good example of something that can be used differently if you're reaching a different group of people. So are we all on the same page there? When you're looking at your different audiences, your different prospective customers, you're going to need to be thinking about them in reference essentially to what tools you can use to reach those people. The best way to do that though is to know who you are, and then on every platform you're on, be exactly the same. I don't mean the message is the same. I mean the business looks the same. We'll talk about that in a second. So let's talk about your customer. You can look at your customer in terms of 4 different identity categories. The first one is demographics. The second is psychographics. The third is geographics. And the fourth is behavioral. We won't all have all 4. So not everyone in here is going to be able to list out all 4 of these things. Some of us do. The majority of people do, but some of us don't. Some of what we're looking for, especially if you're business to business, often with business to business, you'll only have 2 or 3 of these. You won't have all 4. So if you are a business that is selling to other businesses, so if you are a CPA and you are selling to small businesses or large firms or mid-sized firms, you are a business that is selling to a business. And when you look at something like demographics, it might not matter to you the demographics of that law firm or the accounting firm or whatever the company is that you're working with. But geographics might matter a ton, and then behavior might matter a ton. Like how have they been engaging in the world with their CPAs in the past? What kind of firms have they used? What kind of tools are they using right now? That might matter a lot. So let's go through them in order. I'm gonna tell you, Jennifer. We're gonna go through them in order, and we're gonna actually identify for everyone here, because I believe in active exercise. We're going to try to identify which of these things works for each of you, right? So demographics is your standard stuff: race, class, gender, parenting, basically anything that could go on a census is your demographics. So Most people think all of their marketing persona is about demographics. Demographics is like the smallest thing, because my favorite thing to say is that there are 18-year-old Black boys who have a ton in common with 37-year-old white men. Anyone want to guess what the things are that they have in common? Anybody want to put in the chat? What do 18-year-old Black boys have in common with 37-year-old? That's a really good one. I'm glad y'all didn't go in the other direction. Sports is great. Shoes, y'all, shoes. No one's going to put gaming in there. That's a huge one. I know some of y'all husbands out there gaming every night. Just come home and jump right in front of the game box, whatever box it is they're using, and are gaming away. So a lot of those things they have in common, y'all. And so if we think demographics that matter, sometimes they don't matter, right? Sometimes you're selling to very different looking groups of people, but sometimes you're selling to groups of people that very much so look the same, like moms, right? So if you're selling to moms, that is a demographic and a psychographic. We'll talk about that. But a demographic is people who have children, right? That is a demographic. Okay, so in the chat, I want you to tell me, oops, sorry, I skipped one slide. Who is your main demographic? So are you mostly selling to middle-aged, and I'm going to be generous here because I'm in middle age now. So middle-aged Black women who have short curly hair. Like this is me, right? Are you mostly selling to people who look like me? Are you mostly selling to people who are parents? Are you mostly selling to people who are, so if you have a group like that where you can, if you picture them, you can see them. Are you mostly selling to people who have college degrees? Are you mostly selling to people who don't? Are you mostly selling to, so in the, oh, Catherine, scientist, that's a really good one. That is a good demographic. Those are people who have very specific educations. There's some of us who are selling to people who are very specific, retired couples, people who have startups. We're going to talk about that one, Latricia. That is very close to a demographic. There's a lot of stuff in there that's demographic, but that's also, I mean, it could be a demographic, right? It could be 18, you know, people, what's the age people driver's license? 16. It could be 15 and 16-year-olds, but it also could be immigrants, right? Both of those are demographics, right? So when we look at it, we are looking at David. David's is not public, but it says Caucasian millionaire thrill seekers. And I'm like, what are you selling, David? Whatever it is, I want some. I want whatever it is that you're selling to these people. Okay. So we have to remember, though, like I said, with the example from Heather, that the idea of brand new drivers is partially behavioral. So we're going to get there in a second. But the demographics for her might be 15 and 16-year-olds, or recent immigrants, or people who are re-entering the population from prison or something like that. Might be three very different groups of people who she's selling to demographically. You guys are getting it though. I love it. Thank you for laughing at my ridiculousness. Okay, so adults age 20 to 40. Okay. You guys are getting it. Okay. Now, psychographics, I've already seen a bunch of y'all putting psychographics in there, even though you don't know what psychographics are. Everyone who owns a house, Don, that is also demographic. That's very good. Like homeowner is a demographic. Psychographics is how people see themselves, right? So let's go back to David's example of Caucasian millionaire thrill seekers. Now, the Caucasian millionaire is demographic. Thrill seeker is psychographic, right? So psychographic is how does this person see themselves in the world, right? So demographic is how they physically present. And it's a lot of demographics is by choice, right? So you go to college, that's a choice. Like you went there, you were not born a college graduate. So this is not about how people are born, but it's how they navigate in the physical world. So whether or not they have kids, whether or not they went to college, what kind of education they got, all those things are demographics. Psychographics is what they see themselves as after all those things have happened. So am I a thrill seeker? Am I a dog mom, right? Having a pet is one thing. Calling that pet your child is another thing, right? So there are plenty of people who have dogs and don't see them as children. And then there are other people who are like, how on earth could you see a dog as anything other than another family member, right? So that's what I mean by psychographic. So when you start thinking about what Candida put in, where it says prioritizing health, health consciousness is psychographic. So if I'm the kind of person who considers myself to be a healthy person, that is my psychographic, right? So early retirement, demographic. And then people who want to be financially independent, that's psychographic, right? So financial fire people, financial independence, retire early, those are not a demographic, that's a mindset, right? It's a whole different mindset. You can really think about psychographics about mindset, how do people see themselves? It's about that confidence thing that you were talking about. All of those things that you guys are putting in there that are like modifiers to your demographics, that's your psychographics. Geographics is easy. It's where are they? Where are they physically in the world, right? So where are the humans that you are trying to reach? Now, again, some of you have like e-commerce businesses. I saw a few of you who have e-commerce businesses, and your temptation might be to say, anyone with an internet connection can be my customer. That is technically true, but it is not actually true because it's very likely that you speak no more than 2 languages. So the reality is you're not going to effectively be able to market to people who are in countries with languages you don't speak. So you might actually be trying to market yourself to people in the US and Canada. And on top of that, culturally, there's a lot of differences between Americans and Italians. So even if you speak Italian, the ability to market to Italians is going to have a bunch of cultural aspects to it that aren't naturally just exactly the same as Americans, right? And so we want to be thinking about these things very separately. And then behavior, which is one of my favorite ones. If you guys can think of it, it's going to be a really good one. Behavior is what they do on a regular basis as it relates to your thing. So we got Randy here with dog parents who put their health and enjoyment as a priority. I'm guessing you mean the health and enjoyment of the dog as a priority. And so, I mean, I hope they don't put their own health and enjoyment as a priority as well, but the health and enjoyment of the dog as a priority. The behavior there that is related might be that they take their dog to a doggy daycare, or that they take their dog to dog parks on the weekends, or they have friends who they socialize their dogs with in their apartments or in their houses, or they have more than one dog, right? So in order for that parent to feel like their dog is going to get a lot of entertainment and have quality of life, they want to make sure that that dog has an extended family, which you've seen the Instagrams and the reels and the memes about people getting their dog a dog, right? So I've had dogs that had a dog. So if that's the case, then that is a behavior. The kind of person who would get their dog a dog is your customer, right? So that's what we're talking about when we're looking at behavior. So everyone in the chat, if you got it, I want you to give me a behavior identifier for your customer. Something that's like, ooh, my people do X, Y, and Z, right? So if you are a Kumba and you are starting an African clothing startup, it might be people who already prioritize buying clothing with African designs on it, right? So I have many of those types of items in my wardrobe, even though it's not the predominance of my wardrobe, but it is the stuff that I get the best compliments on. And so, so that's what you want to be thinking about when I say behavior, okay? People who value life. Harriet, I want you to get more specific. People who are stressed, but what does that mean? So if they're stressed, what are they doing? So are these people who drink when they're stressed? Are these people who are gaining weight because their cortisol levels are high? Is it people who vegetate in front of the TV for too long? Is it people, this is what I mean by what is their behavior? So if they like motorcycles and cars, are they the kind of people who drive like leisure drive on the weekends? Are they the kind of people who rent a car when they're on vacation so that they can have full control over their movements? Do you guys see what we're talking about here? So yeah, like I want you to give me those. Yes, people who prefer to shop at specialty shops. Okay, so you guys are getting people who read self-help books. Yes, Latricia, that is what I'm talking about. Okay, okay. You guys are getting it. You're getting it. People who use books to capture their lab data. I love that. Like, okay, so you guys are getting it. That's the kind of thing we're talking about when I look at behavior, not just the like literal specific action, but like what is it that they're doing as it relates to your thing? Because mind you, that thing, like the stressed people might just be working too much. That is a really good one, Julie. Like overworking, they're working 60 to 90 hours a week. and not sleeping enough, right? So that is an indicator of stress, right? They're tourists, thrills. Okay, you guys get it. You get it. You get it. Get it. So when we look at all these things, we're going to start building a customer persona. You might be wondering, Lindsay, why are you spending so much time on this? Because this is the important part. Right? So if you guys can understand that your customer is looking for the safety of community, like Lata just said, then if that's something that you were like, oh, my human looks like this, talks like this, and is looking for the safety of community, then we can start using our marketing to talk about that instead of just talking about what we do. Like instead of just talking about the thing we're selling, we're going to start talking about how those things directly relate to those people's, not their air quotes problem, which you guys hear that a lot. I want you to talk about what they're currently doing. What are you currently experiencing? You're currently stressed out because you're working 60 hours a week. You're currently buying your dog a dog. So you're shopping for a dog for your dog right now. You are, whatever that current state is, that is something that is going to resonate with your audience when you start talking to them, right? Like that's what we're focused on. And then with your brand, so remember, I said the customer is the most important thing, but your brand is really important too, because remember that tool thing that we talked about a minute ago. If you are using Facebook, LinkedIn, word of mouth, your friends, your mama, all the people, and you're using Instagram. But on LinkedIn, it says your name is Anita Hayes. And then on Instagram, it says your name is Anita Smith because you got married, but you didn't change your name on Instagram. And then on Facebook, it says your name is Anita Beta because that's what everybody called you in high school. And that's what the name is that you put on Facebook. And then so everywhere you go, your literal name is different. That throws people off because what's going to happen is that someone is going to introduce you in person as Anita Hayes, and then that person is going to go look you up. And then when they don't find Anita Hayes, they're like, who is this person? Who's Anita Beta? Who's Anita Smith? Like, who is this? So you want to make sure that you are putting the same information, same logo, same font, same everything in all of the places. You do not want people to look at your business in different spots and see different versions of reality because then it will cause them to not trust you. It's a very simple thing. Very, very simple. So I want you to, oh, Heather, I'm going to get there in a second. I want you to make sure that you are always and forever using the exact same version of your business across all platforms. Even if you were in the middle of a brand transition like I am right now, yes, I should be done by now, but I'm not. And so because I'm not, I have not put anything else other up there at all. I have not changed anything. Everything just says predictable results marketing, because if it doesn't say all at once certified marketing pro, it will be confusing to people. And so I've just not changed anything, just didn't change it at all. Okay. So for everyone who is like, but Lindsay, what if I have more than one customer? Good. You should have more than one target audience. So what you're going to do, like I said previously, if you are the person who's teaching people how to drive, I can't remember what your name was. I think it was Heather. No, not Heather. Maybe it was someone else, but the person who is teaching people how to drive, if you have an audience of 16-year-olds, first of all, you want to make sure you're in the right spot, right? What is the place the 16-year-olds are? That's TikTok, to answer your question. They're on TikTok and they're on Snapchat. I have a 16-year-old little sister. That's exactly where she spends all of her time, on Snapchat, taking pictures of the most benign things on the planet. Everyone thinks the kids are on Snapchat. Oh, Heather. Okay, it was Heather. I was right. So we're driver rehab. It could, like I said, 16 is just my guess, right? So it's not that audience. If it's driver rehab for any number of disabilities, you're going to have different groups of people. You're going to have people who are disabled with vision. You're going to have people who are disabled with hearing. You're going to have people who are disabled physically. You have people like all of those types of things. And each of them needs their own content. And they also, as age groups, might be on different platforms. So what we want to do is make sure that we are, again, the same business on all those platforms. We're not representing ourselves differently, but that we are talking to the people who we need to talk to on the platform that we need to talk to them on in the way that makes sense for them. So that's like, you're going to have to go back, all of us in here, and look at our different audiences, look at their demographics, their psychographics, what their behavior is, and say, now I'm going to build a profile for each of these groups, and I'm going to market to each of them. Okay, that's what you're going to do. Now, how do we do that? One of the best ways we can do it is by creating a brand positioning statement. A brand positioning statement is a way for you to talk to a specific audience. So again, if we're talking about Heather, you got such a great business. I love the idea that you're doing driver rehab. So let's keep going. So we're talking to Heather, and she has a population of people who have, let's say, a physical impairment that makes them need to drive a different type of car, right? So if that is like a different modification to their car, if that's who she serves, then her purpose or her brand positioning statement for those people is going to be different than people who have a vision impairment, right? So for those of you who are like, why are you talking about vision impairments and driving? Because you can lose an eye and keep your driver's license, right? So if you have a vision impairment and you still drive, exactly. I'm like, I know it's a group, because I know people who have missing eyes. So you miss an eye, you do need to learn how to drive without that eye. It's a different thing, but you are not the same as someone who needs a driver car modification, right? So you're going to create a brand positioning statement for each of those groups. Everyone here is going to do that. So if you are a person who is like, I actually just serve a population of people who have dogs, honey, those people are not all the same, right? So the people who are having Bernese Mountain Dogs are not the same people who only carry Chihuahuas in their purses, right? And so you're going to figure out, okay, what does that population of Burmese Mountain Dog humans, the humans, what do they look like? And how do I want to talk to them versus the people who do nothing but have lap dogs? Like, they are lap dog humans. That is what they do. Those are not the same people. They have a lot of stuff in common, but they're not the same. So how, or the pit bull humans, y'all know those people who ain't never had nothing but a pit bull. There's a very different population of people. And so you want to make sure that you're writing a positioning statement that talks to them. So who are we talking to? It's not interchangeable, it's customized. That's a better word for it, Latricia. So it's not interchangeable, it's customized. We're going to take our business and we're going to customize our messaging for our different audiences. I think you guys really are my favorite population. Like, don't know if I've ever had a workshop full of people this engaged. So you guys are awesome. You should give yourselves a collective hand. Okay. So yes, pits need love too. I'm totally all about the pit love. It's fantastic. Okay, so for pit bull lovers who are challenged with making sure that their dogs are properly exercised, my company provides whatever the service is that you provide for those people, because we believe that pit bulls need love too, right? So like, that is your message to the pity people. And if you were like, what is she talking about? That's because I literally, someone in the chat was like, pit bulls need love too. So don't mind me, that was them. Okay. So this is why I want you guys to focus on the audience. The audience is super, super important. And if you didn't know this already, y'all, this is on YouTube right now. So Score Cleveland has a YouTube channel. We are streaming this live on YouTube, so you can go back and watch this immediately. Like, you can just watch it again after we're done. So if you want to see how this works with a different type of business, this is a really good example of how it works for a different type of business. So for working professionals who need a stylish and functional lunch bag, TW Tote provides fashionable, insulated, vegan leather totes, because everyone deserves a luxurious and functional lunch bag that the entire family can use, right? So for working professionals is the audience, but you can change that out to be, again, whatever audience the TW Tote serves. They could say for working moms, they could say for working dads, they could say for any of the groups of people that they really identify as their audience. They can switch that up. And then in the end, they can change their because statement to really resonate with those people, right? And for people who have vision loss, like what Heather was talking about, you can say, because losing part of your sight shouldn't mean losing your ability to be mobile, right? Like, there's so many ways to customize this so that it's something that you can use with a variety of audiences, okay? I want you guys to hear me when I say that. Like, this is something that you can customize. And then for all of you out there who are like, Wait, marketing is that easy? It is, because once you create this statement for your different audiences, then you can use it as the foundation of your messaging for that audience. So if you decide, okay, I'm going to choose vision impairment as a group, physical impairment as another group, modified cars as another group, like you're going to choose your different groups, you're going to create your different positioning statements, and then you're going to go all in and start marketing to those specific people using that message. Okay. So we're gonna talk about how to use the message in a second. Okay, y'all are good. You good. You good. You good. Y'all are hilarious. We're still talking about dog discrimination. Okay, so in addition to having these customized messages, these customized statements, you do need to make sure that your business is in every place it can be, because we talked about tools earlier. Some of you are leaving some tools in the toolbox and you need to be pulling them out and using them. Very fortunately, almost all of our businesses can be in directories. There are plenty of online marketplaces that we can be. There are some of us who don't realize that we could be on Etsy. Some of us don't realize that we could be on Amazon. Some of us don't realize that we could be in these other marketplaces selling our wares, selling our goods. And we need to start doing that because those places add validity to our business, but then they also give more people access for us to potentially serve them. Okay. Like, we want to be where the people are. We don't want to just have our little Facebook following, whatever the amount is, 1,000, 2,000, 150. I don't care. I have worked with people who have had followings as small as 400 people, and we still did great business on their Facebook page. So it's not about the number. It's about the fact that they were also then on Amazon. They were also on their own Shopify store. They were also in a variety of places because they were also on LinkedIn. Like, they're in a bunch of different places because you can't rely on one tool. You have to have more than one tool in your toolkit. If you don't already, one of the tools that you should be using is your Google Business Profile. It is completely free and it is available for basically every type of business out there. Oh, Nia, you're an author. I'm just catching that. Okay. So it is available for every type of business out there, including Nia, who is an author, right? So if Nia is an author, I am guessing, because Nia is an author specifically talking about parents and education and educating parents, that Nia also does local speaking engagements. She probably goes to the library and does reading, all that stuff. You can have a Google Business Profile where you talk about those things, where you highlight the local work that you're doing. You highlight the things that people can actually catch in person in the real world in your city. Okay. Like, this is the amazing stuff that I hope you guys are understanding. Your Google Business Profile, free, fantastic, and makes it so much better for you to be able to move forward with your business. Now, I am going to blow through the rest of this real quick because the most important part was the part we're talking about. Most of us do not do enough work to make people aware of our businesses, okay? Aware. No, Kim, you do not have to have a brick and mortar to have a Google Business Profile. That is a great question. It is absolutely not necessary. You don't have to have a brick and mortar at all. The majority of businesses on Google Business Profile do not have a brick and mortar. You just need to, they let you do service areas. So if you're in Chicago, you can set up Chicago as your service area, and that's it. Okay. So after awareness is consideration. That is where people are evaluating you against other things. So remember when we talked about behavior? I think that we need to be thinking again, as behavior is competition. So whatever they're currently doing, so if they're thinking about getting another dog in order to entertain their current dog, that is actually competition, right? That might be something that is stopping them from doing just the easiest and less expensive thing, which is just doggy daycare, right? Put your dog in daycare. You dogs are expensive. You don't want to multiply that expense, right? And so, like, that is one way for people to start thinking about your competition and what people are actually looking for. Another thing you can do, I'm gonna give you a couple of really big tips for how to look at your entire competition differently. There is someone in the internet right now complaining about your competition. They're complaining, like I said, if you were an accountant, there's people who are complaining about their accountant in the internet right now. There are people who are offering really bad advice. There are people who are on Amazon complaining about some business book that they read that was horrible because it, led to them being audited. Whatever the thing is, there's people doing that on Amazon, on Etsy, on Google reviews, things like that. So what I want you to do, this is your homework. You got a lot of it. This is your homework. I need you to go to your competition and look for their bad reviews. Look for the bad comments, look for the negative comments, look for those things. And what you're going to start doing is not addressing them over there, but in your own content, you're going to start addressing them yourself. So you're going to look at those negative comments that people are writing and say, so you guys need help with this thing, and the competition isn't giving you that. Let me be the one to help you. Let me help you understand why getting another dog isn't the answer to your dog's restlessness. Right? You're just going to end up with 2 restless dogs, right? Like getting a second dog is not the answer. Let me explain why, right? So this is where consideration comes in. Instead of trying to figure it out, don't try to figure out what people's problems are. Go into the internet. People are publicly complaining all the time. Go to Reddit. It's full of people complaining. Go out there and find what people are complaining about. And you're going to start making content about those things. You are going to listen to the audience and you're going to learn from what they are saying. They are actively, I keep doing that, I'm sorry. You're going to actively listen to them, hear what they're saying, and then you're going to use your own business to communicate value and develop relationships based on what people are complaining about. I know that might sound counterintuitive to a bunch of y'all, but Ben gets me. People are out there complaining constantly. We want to be listening so that we can hear. So we're listening for, what are we listening for? We're listening for pain points. We're listening for what people are challenged with. We're listening to what their problems are. And then we are addressing those issues with our content. We are addressing those issues with our Facebook posts to the group. We are addressing those issues with our LinkedIn lives. We are addressing those issues when we're talking to our current customers. We're going to say, oh yeah, I just saw on Reddit that someone was complaining about X, Y, or Z, and we totally don't have that problem here. You're going to vocalize that to your current customers. You're going to let them know, there are people out there who do not understand how good they have it, like that we are doing this thing here, and there are people who don't do that at all. Like letting everyone know that you are actually solving problems. If you're still questioning what people are looking for, what their problems are, what their issues are, of course, a good old-fashioned Google search is very useful. You can look at the related searches. You can also use Google Trends. Google Trends is your friend. So if you are selling, one of my favorite topics to look up is bone broth. It's one of those things that was super trendy a few years ago, but y'all, it didn't go away. It just like stopped being the only thing that keto people talked about. Now it's still there. There are still people who are drinking bone broth literally every morning. I was at a business meeting in a restaurant in Cincinnati, and somebody was like, they have the best bone broth at this restaurant. It was so funny. But anyway, so if you're thinking that whatever the thing is, oh, people don't look that up, or they don't talk about that topic, look it up on Google Trends. Actually look and see for yourself whether or not that topic is popular. And look at what it's doing in your region. So if you're in Indiana, what are people saying about doggy daycare in Indiana? Don't just look broad across the entire United States. Look for your region because you can get a lot of information there, okay? And yes, there are always issues with making a Google business profile, especially if you have an e-commerce business. So I gave y'all my email address at the beginning of this. I'm telling you, email me. If you're having an issue with getting a Google business profile together for one reason or another, email me and I will help you figure that out. It's really half the time it's 2 clicks and you're good, but that's how easy it is. Now I've done it literally hundreds of times. so let me help you. I'm here to help you. Okay. So you're going to share valuable content. You're going to educate. You're going to inspire. You're going to help people with research. You're going to do that stuff because when you do that, what does it help people? It helps to build trust. It helps to build trust. Our job is to get people to trust us. And you're going to use every tool that you can. I am not, for those of you who just feel extremely overwhelmed, I am not suggesting that you personally need to be everywhere, but you do need to be where your customers are. So if your customers are on Facebook and you are not on Facebook, then you need to get on Facebook. If your customers are on LinkedIn and you're not on LinkedIn, you need to get on LinkedIn. Or if your customers are on LinkedIn and you're very rarely ever on LinkedIn, you need to go get on LinkedIn. So each of us needs to essentially find the places where our people are, and then we need to be there doing all the stuff I just said a minute ago. We are sharing, not selling. We are answering frequently asked questions. We are answering the dumb process questions that people have that are like, I don't know how to set, like, how do I drop my dog off? What's going to happen? Like, answer it, make it simple. Because if you make it easy, you make it simple, you make it plain, then people will go, oh, okay, it's that simple. Okay, I know what hot pot is now. I can go to a hot pot restaurant. You have to like to just explain it because the first time you go to a hot pot restaurant, if any of y'all have ever been to a hot pot restaurant, we just went. My husband and I just went like 2 weeks ago, and we walked in and we were like, I'm not gonna be ashamed of the fact that I've never been in one of these. So what do we do? What is the process? They could probably have a lot more customers if they did content that was like, how does hot pot work? Because people don't know what hot pot is. This is a regular old America. We do not know what we are not Korean or any other, like we just don't know. We don't know nothing. Tell us like we are idiots, right? Explain it like we're dumb. It's the best way to do it. And if you can do that every possible way and assume that whatever answer you gave the first time, there's going to be somebody who comes back later and says, but what about this? So write it, do another video, do another post explaining that little nuance. Don't ever take the stupid questions for granted. They are the best questions. When people ask you questions that make you want to roll your eyes and then write that question down. Like that's the question you need to answer. Okay. Thank you, Dan, for putting my email in the chat. Okay. So as we do all that stuff, now we can move on to conversion. Conversion is where we take people to the next level and get them to engage. Like we get them to like become something other than a looky-loo. You're going to invite them to do that. You're going to invite them to do more than just buy something. You're going to invite them to sign up, to complete a form, to download something. Yes, Leela, the only bad question is one that's never asked. Okay, so you're going to invite them to do a phone call. You're going to invite them to put it in their cart. A lot of us are leaving money on the table because we won't just say the word buy now or start here, because that stuff, it matters a lot. And then if you have timely things that you can say, like we are in the health part of the year, we are in dry January, we are in get a gym membership and buy leggings parts of the year. And so if you are a person who is doing gym memberships and selling leggings, you need to be like, it's legging season, let's go. Like you need to jump in there and say the words. Don't pretend like people know. They don't know. Okay. And then for goodness sake, all of you e-commerce people, go through your own e-commerce process. Make sure it works, because half the time, y'all, we are out there trying to buy stuff from people. If you've ever experienced trying to buy something in the internet and the literal website didn't work, put a one in the chat. I could put one in the chat right now if I could, because I have absolutely had that experience where you are actively trying to make a purchase and the website for the place that you're trying to make the purchase for isn't mobile friendly, or the checkout button is gray and it won't turn blue. This happens all the time. So if you're selling on e-commerce, make sure that you are checking your own process. And if you do use Google Analytics, it's a huge tool for this. It will let you know when people are having a bad process. There are some tools out there that are actually helping you people, and it's completely free. We do other workshops, so if you're like, this is great, how do I use the rest of those tools? We're going to start talking about ads. We're going to go over analytics. We're going to talk about all those things later this year. So if you want, please hang out with SCORE, because we are 100% here to teach you guys all this stuff. So in the end, I know it's 8 o'clock. The last thing we need to do is build loyalty. Get them to come back. The best way we can do that is to stay in touch. Don't let someone buy something from you and then let that be the end of the conversation. That should be the beginning of the conversation, y'all. The very beginning. If people purchase, that's not the end. Ask for feedback. Do customer service. Continuously improve your processes. All of those things are going to help turn your customers into advocates. Those people who are doing word of mouth for you, they're doing it because you did a great job. So keep asking, like keep staying in touch. Thank them when they refer people. Send them a card. Like it's not that hard. You don't have to buy them something. You don't have to give them money. Give them a thank you note. They will appreciate it. Okay. Y'all, it's 8 o'clock. Any questions I didn't answer? Y'all know I was answering questions as we were going. Any questions that you got that I did not answer? Thank you, Latricia. Okay, so before I let y'all go, I want you to, in the chat, tell me something that you got out of this workshop. What did you learn? What are you going to do? Put it in the chat. Tell me what you're gonna do. Thank you, Jaquan. I absolutely love hanging out with you guys. You guys were so much fun. So tell me, I want outcomes. Message consistency, work on the brand positioning statements. Yes, I told y'all, y'all got homework, okay? Like, work on that brand positioning statement. Google business. Yes, do your Google business profile. Research competition, Lakia. That is good. Rochelle's going to do Google Trends. Okay, looking at competitors, doing the Google business profile. Yes, Ruth, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so you guys are, oh, you got 8 pages of notes, Kim. I love that. Related searches. I love it. Okay, you guys are good. I feel very confident in your ability to like put yourself in front of your customer, Jaquan. This is great. You guys are great. You guys are great. Okay, you good. Got it. We learned some stuff today. Okay. Okay, Dan, you can take us home. Rewatch the video. Yes, Candida. Rewatch the video. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. If you're talking, Dan, we can't hear you. I think you're still muted.
Okay, let me just get my video up.
Thank
If
you.
it'll come up or not. Okay, camera's on. Well, it says the camera's on, but you're not seeing me. So I think you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lindsay, for a terrific presentation today. And thank you, audience, for your fantastic participation in the chat. It always fires up a presenter when they're getting feedback in real time. So it's awesome. Everyone will receive a link to the slides. Give us a few days to get it on the website, but we have your email addresses, which you provided when you registered, so you will get it. And that is it for the evening. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We're going to bring the webinar to an end. Everyone have a great